Hello and welcome to the Lifestyle First podcast. My name is Dr. Alka Patel. I am your host and I'm here discussing lifestyle medicine and making self-care as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1 question, 2 research reviews and 3 actionable health tips in each Light Bite weekly episode, all centered around the Lifestyle First method, your blueprint for the 10 key roots of optimal health and happiness. So this is series 2, episode 8, and the theme in the Lifestyle First method we'll be exploring today is why, your connections. So today, the one question we'll be exploring is, how can you be alone in a connected world? Now, this might feel like a paradoxical question because in the midst of coronavirus, the words we're hearing seem to be separating us. Social distancing, self-isolation, shielding, lockdown, all powerful words that create a feeling of disconnect. And yet we're always just one click away from being connected with anyone on any part of the globe at any moment in time. We've reached peak hyperconnectivity. A touch of a button and you can see or speak to someone 24/7 anywhere. But what I want to focus on in this episode is being alone. Not being alone and experiencing the downbeat of loneliness, but how to be alone and experience the upbeat of solitude. So to explore this, I've reviewed 2 pieces of information. The first is the book called Together by Vivek Murthy, a highly recommended read. And in this book, he describes solitude as protecting us against loneliness. And here's the difference. Loneliness is being alone and not liking it. It's a feeling. Solitude is being alone and being content. It's a choice. So let's discuss this a bit more now. According to some polls, we're in the midst of another epidemic, the loneliness epidemic. So even though we can be connected at the swipe of our phones, we're still feeling incredibly alone and lonely. But think about it. How much time are you truly alone? Just you and your thoughts? Because in theory, when we're alone, when we're working from home, we're constantly still receiving emails and messages and we've still got people communicating with us, even if we're not physically surrounded by them. I might be alone when I'm exercising, but I've usually got a podcast on or someone's voice in my ears. And even when I'm reading, it's the author's words diffusing into my mind. And we all need social stimulation, and that's how the world is designed, but we're left with very little true alone time. The scale has tipped. Even now, when in theory we are alone in our homes, distancing and isolating, there's a surge of well-meaning offers to join this online fitness class or Zoom, or watch this video on WhatsApp, or do something entertaining on TikTok. Many offers to not be alone. And the reason we engage in all of this is that actually most of us don't like being alone because we feel lonely. And current society isn't really designed to let us enjoy our alone time. And yet solitude has huge benefits. It's time you can be free of the influences of others. It gives you space for self-reflection, a chance to discover your true values. It lets you produce. My best thoughts come in the morning when my mind is completely clear and I love getting up before anyone else and having the world to myself. And as one quote says, when you feel free from input, you output. Now, of course, it's important to stay connected, feel a part of something, be the social creatures we are, but you also need to connect with yourself. Sometime to be alone in a connected world. So turn loneliness into solitude. Master solitude so you don't need to feel lonely. And in the throes of lockdown and social distancing, maybe you are physically alone, feeling lonely, or maybe you're in a household with family, surrounded by others, but still feeling lonely. But instead of choosing lonely, choose solitude. Change your alone time into time to just be. Loneliness is actually an internal state that doesn't depend on external factors. It's not related to what's going on around us. You can be surrounded by people, lying next to your partner, be at work and still feel lonely. Or you can be alone on a mountaintop and still feel connected to the world. So it's not about your circumstances. It's not about coronavirus or lockdown. It's about how you react to these circumstances. And what fuels loneliness is fear. Fear of boredom. We can't just be, we feel compelled to do. We can't allow ourselves a moment of nothingness. We want to be entertained because the alternative, introspection and reflection, intimidates us. And so we drown our discomfort with distractions. It's hard, right? We say, know yourself. We say, be social. But we don't know how to be alone with ourselves. We spend years teaching our children how to be social and connect with others, but we don't tell them how to be alone and connect with themselves. And real solitude, it can be hard to experience in the modern world, but here's our chance. Coronavirus brings us an opportunity to savor solitude. When you surround yourself with solitude and stillness, you can peel back the layers of life. Of course, solitude can feel scary because it reminds us how small we are. We realize the world will continue to turn on its axis without us. But absence of human contact doesn't make us disappear. There is great power in solitude. And this is reinforced by the second piece of literature I've reviewed, which is a paper in the Journal of Adolescence by Virginia Thomas, which shows that amongst adolescents and young adults seeking solitude, it contributes to personal growth and creative expression and self-acceptance. And young people in particular, they have little practice learning to manage their time alone. But the research shows that being alone can be restorative and positive without the risk of missing out, which is often a big fear. Now, imposed solitude is challenging and now might feel like a time when solitude is being imposed. So you need to choose it. Instead of ruminating on your disconnect, turn your alone time into peaceful solitude. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. Solitude is the joy of being alone. It's about being with yourself, being intimate with your mind. Now we need to build a connected future, and that future starts with connection to yourself. So let's find some simple ways to do that, because now here are your 3 health hacks, your 3 activating actions, your lifestyle first prescription. And you know, this is my favorite part of the podcast because it takes us from theory to practice. And it's great to be able to give you tools for thought and tips for action that really can make a significant difference to your health and your happiness. So, today I'm prescribing your connection with yourself. So action number 1, change your mindset. Remember, loneliness is a feeling and you can choose to be hooked in by this feeling or not. So change the language of being alone. Here's a couple of sentences you can try to reframe. So instead of saying, I can't stand being alone, say, I enjoy my time alone. Instead of saying, I need to be stimulated and distracted, say, I love being able to think about whatever I want to think about. And instead of saying, I need people around me, say, I need to be alone to recharge and reset. Action number 2, practice solitude. So like many things, it takes practice to hit mastery. So build a solitude habit. See if you can be truly alone. Pick a time, just 5 minutes to start. No phones, no books, no podcasts, not even this one. So just you and your thoughts. And notice how you feel just being, not doing. Fix a time, put it in your diary, make an appointment with yourself. Try it first thing in the morning, as soon as you open your eyes, just lie in the silence as soon as you're awake, or wake up before the rest of the house and make this your alone time. And action number 3, shower time. Treat your shower like your castle of solitude. Let your thoughts shower down on you. And that concludes today's episode, making self-care as easy as 1, 2, 3, with the backing of information and evidence from the field of lifestyle medicine. I really hope this has inspired you to take action. Please don't forget to subscribe and share, because the more you share, the more you too are instrumental in spreading messages of health that matter. And of course, please do leave me comments, ratings and a review so that I can continue to provide you with credible, motivating, thought-stimulating and practical information that lets you shape your health and be the author of your own health story. You can connect with me on all the usual social media channels at Dr. Alka Patel UK and use the hashtag the Lifestyle First Podcast or hashtag TLFP so that I can easily connect with you. And if you want to know more and access show notes and free resources, then just head over to my website www.dralkapatel.com. I look forward to connecting with you next week.